The late Daniel Arap Moi's body was brought to Parliament in a military gun carriage, an honor given to fallen soldiers or presidents or officers chosen by the president.
So what does a gun carriage entail, and what is the history behind it? Enoxikolia reports.
Slow-paced and in pattern, the military police pulled the body of Kenya's second president, Daniel Arap Moi, on a military-filled gun carriage. The Kenya Defence Forces spokesman, Colonel Paul Njuguna, says to have Moi's body carried on the gun carriage was to signify the honor given to a fallen general. The late retired president was the commander-in-chief of the Defence Forces for the 24 years he was president.
It is a tradition tied in history.
Retired Brigadier General Ahmed Mohamed was an army man before he hanged his boots. He talks about the significance of the gun carriage funeral practice by the Kenya military, heavily borrowed from the British system.
This type of burial, state funeral, with such high status, was normally honored on the sovereign. The king is the one who will normally have this. And those days in UK, the body then is prepared and then carried on that gun tower. The gun tower, of course, pulls the gun carriage. It has all the respects. Now here we use the gun tower, which is an ACMAT vehicle. But in UK, in fact, they prefer the horse. You're surprised. It's so colorful with the horse. Here we use a gun tower, the actual gun tower that we use in war. It comes from our military units.
The use of a gun carriage as an improvised hearse has origins in the times of war. Gun carriages with a specific platform for accepting the casket have long been used at funerals of soldiers and officers who fell in the battlefield. Fallen soldiers were ceremoniously carried to their final resting place on the gun carriages instead of a hearse.
Gari hili kawaida katika kazi ya kijeshi huwa inavuta mzinga ama artillery. Na huwa artillery katika vita vya nchi kavu ni silaha ambaye ni muhimu zaidi na inaheshimiwa katika vita. Na kwa hivyo heshima kubwa ni kwamba marehemu mtukufu rais abebwe na hii gun carrier ambaye ni heshima ya hali ya juu sana.
The use of a gun carriage is not new in Kenya. In fact, 4 people have been accorded the military honor. In August 1978, Kenya's founding president Mzee Moi was given a state send-off. His body was carried through the streets of Nairobi on a gun carriage that was drawn by military officers. Moi's procession was different from Kenyatta's. The gun carriage was pulled by a military gun tower. Others to receive such an honor included former Vice President, the late Michael Kijana Wamalwa, and the last British governor to Kenya. Now, this truck is called ACMAT and is usually used to carry heavy weaponry from one place to another. But today, it had a specific function, that of carrying the body of Kenya's second president, Mzee Daniel Arap Moi.
On the gun tower, on the left and right, you'll see 2 flags. One is a miniature national flag, and the other one is a miniature presidential standard. Each president has got his own presidential standard. And therefore today what we saw was what Moi used during his time when he was president. As part of the honor also at the front of the car, you'll find that there was something that was covered, which basically is the stars that are used by general officers when they're driven in military vehicles, is where you'll have it. And it's so prominent when it's removed. You see all the 4 or 5 stars standing out. And it's given from the officers of brigadier 1 star all the way to the commander-in-chief, which is 5 stars.
Enoxikolia, Citizen TV, Nairobi.